as Rob sort of alluded to, there are a couple of issues with measuring your internal training load via RPE. One of them would be the time of collection. There's probably two aspects to this. One would be the time that you are asking the athlete and collecting their RPE. If you're being consistent with that, whether that's immediately post-session, 1 hour post-session, 3 hours, and so on and so forth, making sure you're consistent with that, which sometimes in the hustle and bustle of professional sport isn't always possible. And probably the second angle on the timing is what's happening in the session just before you ask the athlete for their RPE. So if you place conditioning, for example, at the end of the session, the athletes might be thinking about that when they're giving you their score, as opposed to something like an easy skill drill at the end. They might rate the session a little bit lighter if they have a lighter skill drill towards the end when you're asked for their RPE. Another issue is the learning effect. So when you introduce something like the scale that you see on the right-hand side of the slide there, there can certainly be a learning effect that takes place with the athletes in terms of them familiarizing themselves with the scale. And there can be probably some issues with consistency when you first start in terms of their athlete reliability of what they're actually telling you in terms of the number that they're giving. And the last issue that we often crops up with RPE scales is the copycat effect. So with the copycat effect, in an ideal world, you have complete anonymity with the athletes in terms of not knowing what their teammates are rating the session. But sometimes, as I alluded to before, the sort of the chaotic nature of our sport and logistical demands means that sometimes athletes will hear what their teammates have rated the session and just go with that, as it sort of alludes to with the name of the copycat. So ideally, you want to try and avoid that.